What is going on, everybody? Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. That young buck and a half over there, the great Jeff Jacklich, looks like he's in Moraga, California this morning. I'm down here in the desert. Another gorgeous day down here. Sorry, but, we got to cut this short because I got to get out in the grass and hit a few balls, Sorry.
It's all about you, Captain You Planet.
Captain You Planet. Thank you. Finally, this is episode number 324. Finally figured that one out. Guys, today's episode, Jeff doesn't know what to talk about, but both of us got a cool email last night.
Yes.
That I want to talk about, and then I want to cherry pick one thing out of that email that was just insanely awesome. So, guys, hang in with us. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. You are absolutely going to love what we're gonna chat about today.
So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us, who never played on the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game? How do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for the victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Jeff Jacklich, and along with Brent Abel, my partner, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. Duck!
Duck and cover, everybody. Anyway, Jeffrey, what do you got on tap?
Yeah.
What do you got in store today? Today's episode number 334.
334.
Friday. Oh, by the way, today's Friday the 13th, December the 13th.
No fear.
My mother, the great Georgiana Reed Powell Abel, would have been 102 today.
Wow.
Just so you know.
Holy smokies.
One of the all-time characters. I mean, she unfortunately smoked too many cigarettes in her younger years, and it kind of got to her. She got the emphysema thing and was gone by the time she was 60. But leading up to that, she was a teacher at a private school, which is now a boys and girls school, Head Royce, which used to be originally Anna Heads for just girls in Berkeley, where she really originally started teaching. But she taught algebra and geometry, which was her major. Math was her major at Smith. She minored in drama. What? How do you do that? You got this major in math and you're minoring in drama. What is going on? Well, what went on? And in fact, Erica, one of your mixed doubles partner, and one of your students, her brother Peter, had the pleasure of being in one of Georgie's classes at Head Royce. But the way she would teach math is she would create these little skits, these little plays for the students that were, in fact, you've seen School of Rock, right? The movie?
Yes. Yeah.
The all-time great Jack Black flicks,
yes.
Right? And so one day he's in there, and the principal comes in and goes, well, I'd just like to sit in. So he gets the guitar and he starts strumming away, and he's going, math, math is a wonderful thing, and 9, it's a magic number. And so anyway, Georgie Abel would create these skits that the kids would act out, these little plays in class, so that they would learn geometry and algebra. And I never obviously had her for my math teacher, but everything I've heard is that, oh my God, math was just a blast. It was so
best
much
thing ever,
fun.
right?
Yes. So
2 plus 2. That is the question.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. She was a free spirit, man. She was, during the 60s in Berkeley, when, the mid 60s, when it was all happening, Mario Savio's up there stumping for, free speech and all this kind of stuff. And, we lived in Berkeley up behind the Claremont Hotel, in a nice area. And yet she'd drive, not every day, but, a couple times a week during the heyday of when all this stuff was happening in the 60s, she'd drive straight down Ashby. She'd hang her right on Telegraph Avenue, and she'd start driving down. And these kids would have their thumbs out. They wanted to ride. And she'd say, all right, roll the window down. She says, where are you going? And they'd say, oh, yeah, I'm going down here. And she, okay, I'll give you a ride. But you got to tell me, what's going on? What is all this stuff you guys are doing here? Anyway, so wow. Great lady. And I think she had a slight effect on me in terms of kind of like, woo. Anyway, I quickly lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I want to talk about today.
What the hell are we doing here today, Brenny?
Well, we're talking about a guy who's actually unrelated to me, Keith Abel.
I'm rolling down my window.
What you got?
So what is this all about?
What is this all about?
Can you tell me? I'll give you a ride, but tell me what's going on.
That's right. That's right. She go, okay. Smoking the Kents with a micronite filter. Right. The biggest oxymoron in old time, right? With the micronite filter to take away all the stuff that we know is bad for you. But we're actually going to put more in there to keep you addicted.
Oops.
All right, let's not go off on that rant there. Anyway, so we got an email last night.
Yes.
From one of our guys, Keith Abel, we're not related, but we do call each other brothers just, for fun. But here's a guy who's really been with us. I mean, he started, I know he started with me with the web tennis before you and I got going with Gold Ball Hunting, but he's been with us ever since episode number 1 of the Gold Ball Hunting podcast, and has really gleaned over, today's 334, all daily episodes. And he sent us an email called it's kind of like the
12 nuggets.
Well, and he related it to the 12 days of Christmas.
Right.
These are the things over 2019 that he really put together just a great list of 12.
Yeah, but didn't he call it the 12 nuggets of Christmas?
He called it the 12 golden nuggets. And so I want to pick out one of them, and I don't know why we don't just take the next 12 days and go through each one. But I'm going to take a look at one of them, which is number 6. And I don't know if you got the list in front of you, but number 6 is hit a shot that gets you the shot that you want. And I think too often players go out there and Jeff, you've talked about this so many times, which is everyone sort of turns themselves into a one-shot wonder, or that tactics and or strategy are sort of a technical, and the better technically you can become, you can then really turn yourself into a one-shot wonder. For example, a really massive first serve that never comes back. Well, guess what, guys? No one in the history of the game's ever developed that one. John Isner, pretty good first serve, but guess what? It comes back, right? It comes back often enough.
When guys get tuned into it and they're having a decent day returning his serve, he's in trouble.
Totally.
No disrespect whatsoever to John Isner. The guy has milked his talent, skill set to the umph degree. I applaud him. I think he's a great American player absolutely.
Fun to watch.
Like you're saying, you see it enough times, guys figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And so again, you can't, it's not just a one weapon deal.
So, and I see it too with, all right, you serve, the ball comes back. Now I've got a forehand, and now I'm going to ding this thing big time because I've been working on the ball machine, been working with my pro. I've been studying Rafa, and I've actually got Rafa's video that I flipped over. So it's a reverse image because I'm a righty. I want to see what he does righty. And I've now got this thing where I can now ding it to a corner, either up the line or across court. And I can do this often enough to where, well, guess what? If that's what you're thinking, if that's your big sledgehammer, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to feed it to you like the ball machine did yesterday.
Damn it.
College Willikers. That's not fair. So I think that what I just read from Keith's 12 golden nuggets, nugget number 6, is work the point. And you and I have been talking about this recently with the tournament training workshop that we're holding in the desert on the 16th and 17th of January. Choose one or both days if you want. But is that we got to help you find what is that thing about your game that you just happen that when you are put in that situation, either intentionally you do something, you hit a shot somewhere that most of the time it comes back to that thing that you do well, or the guy just doesn't know it and just hits it there for you, not knowing that they shouldn't be doing this. And so you got to start finding out what is that part of your game that makes you unique. What's your, as you love to say, what's your player brand? And so Keith's thing is hit shots somewhere in the court that the chances are, it's never a guarantee, but the chances are likely that you'll now get that ball. It increases
the chances
that you get that ball in a certain spot of the court that now, again, it's not a one-shot play, that now you start to think of, okay, it's a two-shot mindset here.
Yeah, I think, we talk about Fed, Rafa, and Djokovic and all the top guys and gals, and circling back to Rafa, and pulling some numbers from, our friend Craig O'Shaughnessy at Brain Game Tennis, who's the numbers guru. I think between 2012 and I think 2017, 5-year numbers crunch, Rafa, his 1-2 deal off of his serve, Rafa hits a forehand after his serve 80% of the time. Let's think about that for a second. Do you think he and Uncle Tony, that's actually a plan? Do you think that, that
you think that they figured out how to serve and where to serve that will get him that
gets him what he wants, which is I want to hit a forehand. Now, granted, they've also added his athletic ability, his ability to run backwards faster than anybody runs forward. So he can create a forehand just about out of anything. But in combination, it's just
and when you say
he
running
sees
backwards,
the serve, he sees the serve as a combination. He sees the serve and his first shot together as a unit. And so obviously he's choosing to serve at a certain target to create the opportunity because of what he wants.
Well, yeah.
And just recently, this last year, he's go ahead.
Well, I just want to clarify when you say run backwards, because I don't want to get too far away from that phrase. If he runs backwards as fast as a lot of guys run forwards, he doesn't literally retreat back behind the baseline. What he does is he runs backwards along the baseline to be able to get. So he's not giving up court position.
Yeah, no. Left, right.
Yes.
Not up, back.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Right. So just to get around. So, and just recently, the last year or so, he's upped the ante on his serve because they've also figured out that he doesn't want the points to be as long as they used to be. So now they're looking at things. How can they improve what he already does to shorten the points without taking unnecessary crazy risk? And so serve is where he could take some higher risk. And so he's doing that, and it shows in his stats. But just as a model, you want to model something that Rafa does. Don't model how he hits his forehand, but model the thought process that he sees his serve and his first shot as a unit, as a combination, a 1-2 punch.
Well, so I think there's a third component to it as well, is he looks at the serve, and then he thinks about court position. And he already starts to anticipate getting a forehand by hitting the serve, and starting to move to his right.
Right.
So he's got shot placement, plus he's got court positioning afterwards. Then he gets the forehand and hits the forehand wherever he hits it, and now he thinks, what's the next best court position? Yesterday, I was out playing some doubles, and one of our guys was just playing some practice points on the court next to me. And God, the guy hit a really great forehand cross court into the corner over there and got his guy completely stretched out. And he just stood there. He just stood there. And the ball, the guy was stretched out and just barely got it back, and it just kind of rolled over the net, and he goes running up and he can't make a play. And I just said, God, man, you hit that kind of a shot where you stretch the guy out. The only thing you do after that is you start running forward.
Right, running at him. You run
just
at
run
him.
at the guy. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you split step. Just run. Just go.
Right.
It's going to be a weak shot. And
right.
And it was interesting that, and we've talked a lot about this recently too, is that players, they hit and they just wonder what's going to happen next.
Right. Waiting to see what's going to happen, to see if what their opponent is going to allow them to do next. And that mindset is just you're behind the 8 ball after every shot.
Well, look, I think one of the things that we can really help our players with in these workshops in January, if nothing else, is help them with, when you put the ball there, you got to move here. I mean, there's just, and if the guy creases the line over there or somehow does something over here, okay.
You say nice shot.
You just say nice shot, but I don't think to yourself, you say this, I don't think you can do this again. And,
right.
And that is the reality of it. So I think too often what happens is players hit a great shot and they want to make sure they can cover every possible inch of the court. And by doing that, you just give up too many opportunities to take time away. So, well, look, guys, I guess to get back to Keith's thing today, golden nugget number 6, which is, again, you got to figure out, you sort of have to do this in reverse order. You got to figure out, well, what is the thing that you do super well? What's kind of your superpower? And then from there, work a strategy or a 2-shot combo. That's not a guarantee, but as you say, the chances get increased that you'll get a ball back. And look, for me, I would say right now, I want to play more drop shots. I'm sorry, it's not a beauty contest. And if you're thinking the drop shot is wimpy tennis, okay, let's go play and see how you feel. But the reality is I need to do more of that. I need to put myself into situations where I get more opportunities to do that, because I just win more points when I do it. It's as simple as that. I don't win every point, but I win more points than I do if I don't.
Enough to
Isn't that what we're looking for?
Go report the score.
Yeah. So again, it's not a beauty contest. Look.
Right.
And I went out yesterday with our buddy O, and I don't know why we were sort of low on laundry, and I was kind of running late. And last thing I pulled out a pair of socks. They were like hiking. They were dark hiking socks. So I pull them behind, and I go out there, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "The socks." And I said, "Oh, it's not a beauty contest." And you could see he just went, God dang it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And that all by itself is worth a few points, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. You guys worried about my socks. Game 1. Yes.
Right.
I think the other aspect of this too, as well, is that, because what we're talking about here is an aspect of, percentage tennis is another term that gets bantied about and thrown around a lot. Got to play percentage tennis. And a lot of time that has to do with, keeping the ball in play. And here's your main targets and doing that. And that is an aspect of it. But as you peel the layers away of what percentage tennis is, another layer is, what are the percentages against this particular opponent that when I do this, they respond this way most of the time? Understanding that aspect of my opponent is massive. Because if I can feed him, quote, his favorite thing to do, but I know what he does and I have the antidote, I'm going to bleed him for his superpower all day and let him feed me my shot because I have the antidote for it. And so that's another aspect of it. Another layer of it is, as you always say, Brenny, and it's just so huge, and that is, where should I go stand after I deliver the goods, right? And so the layers of percentage tennis are not just about, keeping the ball in play. Got to hit that ball cross court. You should X, Y, or Z. The layers, all these things work in concert together. So I'm going to go stand here. I know I'm giving up a foot of space down the line, and I know I'm giving up X, Y, Z cross court. Great. Go ahead now. Swing the bat, dude. Let's see.
Well,
he
look at
pasted
Sampras.
the line.
What did Pete do? I mean, Sampras would work the point off his backhand to invite some guy to go cross court to his forehand.
Yes.
To the opponent, man, that cross court thing looked wide open, and they'd go there, and Pete would just like
one of the greatest running forehands ever.
I mean, I remember once in San Jose just sitting there, and it was like an early round match, and I'm just on the baseline, and I'm on the baseline, so I'm looking at him, and
right.
he's kind of rolling that little backhand up the line, but way inside. Then he's slicing it, and then the guy goes, I got to go cross court. And here comes Pete running at me. He's coming right at me. And I'm not watching this. I'm just watching him coming at me. And it's like a panther just stalking this thing. And he comes in there, and it was like, I don't know. I mean, it's like,
good night, Irene.
So you just said something that I thought was really great, which is about if you can know what the guy likes to do with a certain situation. I've got a lawnmower guy out here working feverishly this morning.
You're good. You're good though. We can't hear it.
But anyway, so if you know what the predictability is over there, and it won't be for every possible shot, but if you can figure out one or two things where the chances go way up that now you know what shot they're going to hit, well, guess what? That may be your number 6, Keith Abel, your number 6, is that predictably they normally do this with that ball. Does that ball put me into maybe one of my superpowers?
Yeah.
And if it does, then wowza.
Does it give me access to a pattern that gets me there? It may not be the exact next shot, but does it change the dynamic, the geometry of the next hit that actually starts to feed what you want to be doing? And you have to figure out, where do I need to go stand when I feed him that strength? Where do I need to go stand so I can at least get to neutral off of his superpower that allows me access to be able to now change the dynamic of what's going on?
Look, if you just said, I put the ball over there, where do I need to go to next? Lots of times the predictability of where you go to next creates the predictability out of. So if you're really geometrically, happy birthday, Georgie Abel, if you're geometrically in a certain spot on the court, that for that opponent, that they realize, I gotta deliver a little bit more here. And it could be that the predictability is based on your court positioning, which creates unforced forced errors.
Yes.
You haven't done anything other than just put your fanny right there.
Right.
And they go, I got to go big.
Right. Because here's another, Keith Abel, nugget number 13. Okay. Here it comes. And that is this, is that whatever the person's superpower is, as much damage as it can do, players also tend to take higher risk with it because they're sometimes can be overly confident with it. So if I can actually attack it and put it under just a little bit more pressure than normal, and that could be anything, a different spot in the strike zone, a different pace, a different spin, and then make a move of aggression toward it, I've flipped matches around before where actually I start to attack their strength, and they take higher risk, and all of a sudden now they're missing. They're hitting a beautiful ball.
But you're not attacking their strength with a bigger technical ball.
No.
You're attacking their strength with where you are as they have to execute that strength. And I think, I don't
groove it either. I'm not going to groove it either. It might be that I'm only going to go to their strength when I can be aggressive to it, so that they feel they have to respond to it a little bit heavier. And if I can get them into that place where, again, players tend to do this. We take. I know I do it. I take higher risk with my big shot.
Yeah.
And so if you can get a player into that mode, it sounds counterintuitive, but I'm telling you.
So, guys, I guess that winning, especially at the higher levels, is a little more complicated than just spending an extra 3 hours a week in the ball machine. I'm sorry, man. Sorry. But
hey,
that's the reality of it. And again, the only way you can get there is through experiences. Pillar number 5. You got to get your butt out there and play a ton.
Yeah.
And not just hit and giggle. You got to get out there and make it count for something. Whether it's a tournament, it's a league match, or some practice match that you post somewhere. You make it public. Jeff, I think we've gone way over our allotted time today. We could probably break this into 2 episodes, but what the heck?
What the heck?
Is it okay if we over-deliver? Is that all right?
Hey,
I hope so.
I think so.
Okay, good.
It's fun.
Jeffrey, what do we want fine folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review. Goldballhunting.com. 12 days of Christmas, baby. 12 nuggets.
Yeah, Keith,
Come
man,
on.
Thank you. We just, great
Huge
email.
Huge shout out to Mr.
God dang, you wake up in the morning and here's some guy going, I got to tell you, every day, last 333 days, here's the 12 days of Christmas. Mind blown. Anyway, listen, guys, we've got this thing in January that we want to encourage you to consider getting signed up for. And it is really what we're billing as a 1-day pre-tournament prep workshop. Pre-tournament, meaning that it's January 16th and 17th, a Thursday and or Friday. You could do both days, but it's really designed to come in for 1 day. And right before the Wilson, the Category 2 starts down here in the desert, which actually starts on that Saturday for some of the older age group mixed doubles, which are national Category 1s. And I think some of the older age groups actually start their singles on Sunday as well, which would be the 18th. But anyway, so we want to encourage you guys to do, and what we want to help, and it could be a pre-tournament for that. It could be a post-tournament for the Palm Springs tournament, which is the week before.
Yeah.
Or it could be that you're just not playing.
Plaza.
Or the Plaza. Could be that you're not even playing the tournaments, but that you want to come down here for, a couple days and hang out with us and maybe even check out one of the tournaments and see what's going on there. So if you're interested in doing that, what we need to make sure is that you are just the right fit for this. And what we mean by that is we are going to make sure that each one of the groups that we have has got the same exact skill level for all the players in there. We got to make sure that that's happening and we don't have different skill levels. So if you're interested, here's the best way to do this. Either leave us a comment down the YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching this, and let us know that you're interested and we'll get in touch with you. Or you can send us an email, just shoot us an email to let us know at goldballhunting.com, and we can give you all the deets. I'm so cool. Listen to me. A modern.
The deets.
It's like a modern forehand.
Come on down to the desert. We're going to collab.
All right. So, guys, that's it. Get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, we'll do this again tomorrow.
I can't wait.